What is up, Maniacs? I am Zach, and I am the Millie Maker Maniac. And today we are going to be doing a redraft league. This is actually one of my leagues with my buddies from high school. So a little bit of a change up from all the best ball drafts we've been doing, but thought it would be good to go ahead and record this and give you guys something to consider for redraft. So first, within this redraft league, let's check out the settings. You always want to do that when you're in any league to have an understanding of what the scoring is. I'll show you the roster here momentarily, but if our scoring is pretty standard, we do have a negative 2 points for pass intercepted. Passing TDs are only 4 points. Rushing TDs are 6 points. This is half point PPR, but receiving touchdowns are worth 8 points. So definitely a interesting score system here, and there are kickers and defense, but we're not going to be making big decisions based on anything in the scoring there. We're going to be taking kicker and defense with our last two picks. Maybe we might just actually leave one off the roster and add it before the season starts. But we are picking in the 3 slot today. This is a 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex roster build. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jahmyr Gibbs here. I think that Bijan and Jahmyr are the 2 most likely running backs to finish RB1. I like going an RB build in redraft because unlike in best ball, you can't just have a group of guys and hope one of them has a decent week in fantasy. In redraft, you have to make your decisions every single week on who's going to make your lineup. So running back is a position where we want to pursue guys that have consistent volume. Go ahead and turn off that sound. That was pretty annoying. Okay, so we're going to be building here with Gibbs to start. Another interesting component about this is a 10-person league. So it's going to be a little bit more concentrated than what we're used to in best ball. We'll be able to get a stronger roster, and it's also only 15 rounds long, so not nearly as many players as we would have in a best ball draft. Places that I want to try to get advantage in a redraft that I might not necessarily pursue as hard in best ball is I want to be strong at the onesies position. So I'm either going to go with Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, or George Kittle if I can get them, or I'm going to punt tight end and wait a long time before I take tight end, because basically after the top echelon guys, there's not a big difference in points scored throughout the year as well as consistency from basically tight end 4 down. So I will just punt that position and get 1 or 2 guys late if we don't get a premium tight end. But I think a premium tight end is a huge advantage in redraft leagues. So we will pursue that build. And then the same thing goes for quarterback. Quarterback, not as drastic. There is a big advantage to having guys that can have the big boom games like Lamar and Josh and Jane Daniels, guys like that. I want a rushing quarterback with this scoring since passing touchdowns are only worth 4, rushing are 6, and passing are 8. So what I would love to do is actually go Brock Bowers and then Lamar or vice versa here when it gets back to us. But we'll see how it plays out there. So McCaffrey fell all the way to pick 7, which to me, I would put him above both Barkley and definitely Derrick Henry for sure. Gibbs, when I'm considering between Gibbs and Robinson, I actually would have taken Gibbs over Robinson. I think they both have pretty low floors. I think it's very likely that both of them are top 5 running backs this year. But I think Gibbs just has a little bit more upside when it comes to boom games. And so I'm looking for a guy that is going to give me a better chance at having a dominant performance as we get in the fantasy playoffs to win a championship and be able to brag to all my high school buddies about it for the rest of the year. And really for eternity. We know how that goes. So coming up on our pick. So, I mean, if any of the guys at the top fell, like if Puka or Drake London was there, I would consider either of them. HN, I'm going to avoid. It might end up biting me, but I don't like betting my season-long fantasy life on somebody that's got a calf injury and that is already undersized for the position. Just seems like a lot of risk that isn't necessary in this range, and I think there's some more solid options. So I think I'm going back and forth between whether or not I want to go Lamar first or if I want to go Brock first if Puka or Drake aren't there. There we go. Not as familiar with Sleeper Site, but yeah, I would take Puka and Drake, and then if either of them are there. But if I don't get Bowers, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get McBride if I went Lamar first. I don't think I'm as guaranteed for Lamar to get back to me, though. I think I could probably get both. I don't know if the order is going to matter. And if I don't get Bowers, then I can just go McBride. And another reason why I want to go this strategy is there's only so many studs at these positions that create separation from the rest of your competition. So I have this one shot at building a lineup like this. And I also know that I for sure have a better knowledge of the draft pool and players later on in the draft compared to anybody else in this draft. So I'm going to try to take advantage of that knowledge later and take some for sure things here and then go get some good values at wide receiver and other positions later. Gonna be interesting if London falls here. I think I would have to take London, and then we would decide, are we going to go elite QB or elite tight ends? Right now, my gut is leaning Lamar. Huh. So Drake is there. Well, this wasn't how I thought it was going to go, but yeah, we're going to go with Drake London then. I just think he legitimately has a shot at being wide receiver 1 this year. He's going to get a ton of value. It's a little bit of a bet on Michael Penix, but that's a bet I'm willing to make. I feel pretty good about what he's going to do this year. He seems confident. Seems like he can command the offense well. So, yeah, let's see. We're going to change up the game plan a little bit here. So I think we'll kind of let the board dictate it. If only one of these guys is left with Brock and Lamar, I would take either or. Right now, I'm leaning Lamar. Kittle get back to us. There's a chance Kittle would get back to us. There's also a chance Hurts would get back to us. I would love to get any of the combination of these four of Jalen and Kittle. Also throw McBride in there. Chase Brown is interesting. It was James Cook, but Chase Brown. Somebody else I would consider in here. A little bit slow pace in the best ball drafts too. Might be a little bit long recording, but that's all right. Devon Achane almost fell to the 3rd round. Could be a steal of a pick. It's just I don't want to take the injury risk when there's something more solid there, like I think there is with London. Let's see if we're gonna get a chance at. I'll go ahead and throw Brian Thomas in here too. Really change our plans, but I think it would be crazy not to take him if he's there. So we're in a good spot regardless. We should get either Brian Thomas, Lamar Jackson, or Brock Bowers. Now it's just a matter of deciding build-wise, like how do we want to attack this? Leaning like I need to go Bowers or McBride just because it's a low. It's not that low, but I just think it's unlikely that Kittle gets all the way back around to us. Man, Brian Thomas being there makes it tough though. Okay, he's gone. All right, well I guess it will not be a Lamar team. I wanted it to be. But I just think there's more options at quarterback than there are at tight end. I don't want to miss out on a top tight end, and I think Bowers is just going to be better than even than he was last year. Guy's a better quarterback play, better coach, a coach and Pete Carroll that is going to get his winning players of football and is going to, I think, make those guys a lot more competitive than people might think. I also think Chip Kelly understands who his playmakers are on that team. I think it's going to be a lot of Genty and Bowers, and that'll be pretty much it. But they have a solid quarterback, so I think they're going to be a competent offense, which I think means Bowers is going to be in better situations this year than he was last year, more likely to score more TDs. If he gets 10 TDs, we're in a really good place to have success with this team. I mean, we got 3 guys that could be number 1 at their position. So I like that build so far. Now I'm really rooting for Jalen Hurts to get all the way back. We'll go ahead and queue up Jaden Daniels too. I think Hurts is the most attractive in this just because I think I guess I guess somebody else also thought that. We got somebody that stacked up Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. That could be pretty nice with Derrick Henry. Interesting I didn't take Lamar. I actually like the Lamar Derrick Henry stack even better. So if we miss on Lamar or Jaden, honestly, I would wait for a QB for quite a while. And really who I'd be like interested in targeting would be Drake May or even Justin Fields, running quarterback. So is really what I'm looking for. That just gives you a nice floor in fantasy. When you have rushing, you're not going to have many real missed games. There goes Lamar. It's not looking likely that our boy Jaden's going to get back to us, but that's all right. I like the build we went with. It wasn't exactly what our game plan was, but can't pass it. Drake London at pick 18. We don't want Frank to complete the Burrow stack over here. He's already got Jamar Chase and Chase Brown, so it'd be pretty dirty if he got all the Bengals. All right, coming up on our pick here, Jaden Daniels did go. So we are looking at either wide receiver or running back now. I would definitely take Jackson Smith and Jigba if he gets there. My next pick would be Terry McLaurin. I think that he just signed the big deal, obviously, but he's Jaden Daniels' go-to guy. I think Jaden Daniels takes even another step this year, and they are even better. He probably regresses a little bit on touchdowns, but he's a guy I can put in my lineup week in and week out and feel confident that he's going to get points on the board. Marvin Harrison, I just don't believe in his connection with Kyler Murray. He wins on in-breaking routes, and Kyler Murray doesn't throw in-breaking routes. So Marvin Harrison just doesn't get the ball anything over the middle. It's just little dump-offs, drag routes to McBride. Yeah, I'm out on Harrison. Garrett Wilson, I think, is fine, but I don't think he has that big of a ceiling just because Justin Fields at quarterback, he's going to get a lot of volume, but it's unlikely he'll have any of those big, 100-yard, 2-touchdown games. Terry, I just feel a lot more confident in. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, we'll go ahead and draft him. Pretty crazy. We got him at, was that pick 48? His ADP is 32. We'll take that all day. According to ADP on here, that's why I got wide receivers pulled up. I don't want to go Joe Burrow, especially unstacked. I have a feeling that Joe Burrow will probably go here at the turn, which will give Frank a strong team stacked with Chase. A little unfortunate, but I'm not going to take an unstacked Burrow in a scoring system that benefits running quarterback so much. Because Breece Hall, not a Breece Hall believer. I'd probably go Chuba with my next pick if he gets here. Frank's taking a sweet time here. There goes Kittle. If I would have known for sure that Kittle would have fallen to us, I would have rather taken Lamar or, taken Lamar where we took Bowers or Jaden Daniels, but it just wasn't a sure enough thing to pass on taking Kittle or pass on taking Bowers. So I'm happy with how we did it, but if I would have known how it would have fallen, I would have definitely taken Lamar at the pick where we took Bowers. Coming up on our pick, we still have Chuba or Terry McLaurin to take. I think Chuba is the last. Well, there's a couple guys, but this would be my last shot to get a pretty guaranteed high volume running back. So I think I'd rather do that. Although I do like Terry quite a bit. I think there's some values at wide receiver I can get later. And there's just no more of these bell cow running backs left after this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go Chuba here. I would have some consideration for James Conner here, but Chuba just feels like a safer play to me. I feel confident that offense takes another step forward this year as well. So Chuba will be my pick here. Slay Rod gets his pick in anytime soon. All right, McLaurin went there, so we don't even have to pretend that was a decision anymore. We'll go ahead and add Chuba. We've got a pretty solid starting lineup going right now. Jahmyr Gibbs, Chuba Hubbard, Drake London, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Brock Bowers. Wow, it's a good-looking lineup. Happy with it so far. Okay, coming back up on our pick here, we had Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Sam Laporta, Trevion Henderson, Cortland Sutton, Tony Pollard, Joe Burrow, James Conner, Tedero McMillan, Travis Hunter, and DJ Moore come off the board. We're coming up on our pick here. So in this range, would be interested in somebody like RJ Harvey. He's got upside as a rookie running back behind a good offensive line and a team that should be competitive in the Broncos. Same thing goes for Pacheco, except you would think, get more of the workload right out of the gate. Rashee Rice misses 6th game of the season. I really just don't. I know he faced the Broncos at week 17, so I don't necessarily really want to have that matchup in the championship week. Names that kind of jump out to me here are Jameson Williams and George Pickens. I think they're both in line to have big years. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. RJ Harvey would be the other consideration, but I just like the upside of Jameson Williams and George Pickens more. So that's where I'm going to go. I don't know. Going running back actually might be interesting here, because we can get other guys like Ricky Pearsall and Roma Dunze, guys I think have upside that are younger with our next pick. So Dunze. Mecca Ibuka is also out there. There's Pearsall. I might take the running back swing and then get either Jameson Williams or George with the next pick. It's a tough one. I like both Jameson Williams and George Pickens a lot this year. The more I think about it, it's hard to trust a Sean Payton running back the last few years. I mean, he hasn't had a stud like Harvey, but I'm going to go with the guys that I feel have more upside. Go Jameson Williams, and we'll go after more upside handcuffs as the draft goes on, to where maybe we can draft some guys that become running back studs. But I really want to get Pickens on the way back here. Both guys that I think are going to score a lot of touchdowns, and with the 8-point receiving touchdown scoring system in this league, I think it's worth pursuing that. There goes Harvey, so we won't have to make that decision again. All right, our boy George Pickens fell to us, so we will go ahead and take him here. Now our wide receiver room is looking very strong. Drake London, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jameson Williams, and George Pickens. Testing. Hello? All right, coming up on our pick here. Looking to take Ricky Pearsall here. I don't want to mess with Rashee Rice. It is starting to get to the range where it would be somewhat of a value, but no, we don't have to worry about it. He's gone now. Nobody else in this area is somebody that I really like. Ricky Pearsall, I feel like, is going to outperform everybody in this range. Right now, he's wide receiver 1 for what I think will be one of the best fantasy offenses in football. And I also have Purdy as one of the quarterbacks that I would consider taking late, or later, I should say. So have a nice little stack with him if he becomes a true wide receiver 1. But he's definitely a guy that has wide receiver 1 potential, and there's not a lot of those guys in this range that truly have top 12 potential. I think he does. So we're pretty strong at wide receiver now. At the turn, I like the idea of ETN. I feel like he was a lot more hurt than he let on last year, and it impacted his play. I think he's got a much better play caller in there now that can take advantage of his explosiveness. But it is right now kind of a 3-headed running back committee type scenario with him, Tank Bigsby, and Bashal Tutin. So there is a lot of question there, but I would roll the dice. I think he's the best bet there. But everything's just really been moving in the right direction for Charbonnet right now. If Walker's healthy all year, he can still have value, but if Walker goes down, he becomes a top 12 running back asset in fantasy like right away. So I think I'm going to go Charbonnet here. Would love to get ETN too, but he's not going to get all the way. I don't think either of these guys get back to me. So since I only get one of these drafts, and it's not like we're building a portfolio of best ball drafts where we can kind of mix and match. If I'm just going to be doing the one draft, Charbonnet is the guy that I feel more confident in having a chance of being a league winner. ETN could be a nice piece. I could use in the flex occasionally. And I guess if he does get like the workload that he got a couple of years ago, he was top 5 at one point. It seems unlikely. It seems like they're going to do a little bit of a split backfield there regardless. So I think Charbonnet just has more upside if he gets all of the workload if Walker were to go down, which is definitely something that seems to be high probability based on his injury history. I miss Mason. Jordan Mason got pulled up too, but that actually would have been a good pick. I don't know how I didn't have that on the radar. It's all right. Still like Charbonnet here. And there's a chance he would get back to us. Do I get greedy and try to go for both of them? Yeah, I think I'm going to try that. I think I'm going to try to get ETN and then get Charbonnet to come back. Let's see. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. See if he gets back.
It's happening.
It blows. Well, I'm not like it's live. I just edited this. This draft is like so. We're text. Shit, there's a chat on here. I do miss the glory days of when we used to do it at a buddy's house, and we would buy like this post like that, like these kids that have like every single name like on a sticker. Yeah. So you get to go up on the board, like put your picks, sit around for hours and just.
Like Discord and shit to like her.
Yeah. The glory.
That's all you're doing.
No, I'm just doing like I got picked. No, I'm doing I'm just recording it to post on that.
Okay, so we got sniped on Charbonnet by my buddy Lucas. I'm texting him over here, talking shit to him. But we are not going to get Charbonnet, unfortunately, so we'll have to call an audible there.
No. I want to edit it out. It's just going so slow that I wasn't going to sit here and talk it for like 2 hours. So I'm going in and out. Yeah, that'll be good.
Testing. All right, coming up on our next pick here. Really don't love the running backs in this range. Scatterby would be the only one I'd really be interested in pulling up here. Might be the pick because beyond that, it's basically Braylon Allen later on. Guys that I really want to touch. I guess I could go after Bigsby, split the backfield with ETN and see which one is better throughout the year. Then it's really getting more into like just premium handcuffs at that point. Wide receiver, there's still a lot of good value here. All right, so Quinshon Judkins went. Siding here between Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden. Addison, he's definitely going to have good games throughout the year. I love him in best ball. He's a little bit harder in redraft, though, because he tends to be a little bit more boom bust, and it's hard to know which weeks he's going to go off. Golden, I think, has a better chance of becoming more consistent. Because of that, I'm going to go with Golden. I think he has like the opportunity to be the go-to guy in Green Bay, and Addison's never going to be the go-to guy in Minnesota with Justin Jefferson there. So for redraft purposes, I will go Golden, even though I think best ball-wise, I actually prefer Jordan Addison. So if Scatterboo gets back here, we'll go ahead and take him. I'll pull him up here. So we got 6 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and no QB yet, but most people have already taken their QB, so we can wait a little bit longer on that. Let's see. I might be the only team without a quarterback. No, it looks like Lucas might not have one either. Mayfield is kind of enticing. Last year's QB4 out there on the board with QB 10, I think, maybe QB 11. It's interesting. Feeling Lucas is going to use that pick right there to snipe me with Baker Mayfield. It'd be tough to pass him again here if he does fall. But I'm pretty sure Lucas is going to take him here since he doesn't have a quarterback. He's got a Buka too, so he's got one stack there. Yeah. That's what happened. That's okay. It's okay. We'll go Scatterboo here. And we'll probably take Purdy on our the next time around. We'll see where we're at when he gets all the way around. But I feel really solid with the wide receiver room. Really don't need to do anything else there. And I think we can pretty much just go handcuffs, like high upside handcuffs the rest of the way. Running back, and then get a QB mix in there too. We got 4 more rounds. All right, coming up on our pick again here. We're going to go quarterback. We're in round 12 now. So initially I wanted to go elite QB, but that's just not how it fell for us. So if I'm not going elite QB, I'm good with waiting, and it's worked out pretty well for us. We'll go ahead and get Purdy here, and then on the comeback, I hope to get Drake May. Give us 2 solid guys that I think are both very likely to be in the top 12, and both with some top 5 upside. So we can build a lot of value in the earlier rounds by not going elite QB. Would have definitely taken one here in the 4th round if it would have fell, but it didn't fall. So we got Purdy. I feel confident about him, and we'll see if we can get May here around the turn. All right. Well, after Carson Wentz was taken in our draft, we were able to draft Drake May. Not sure what A-Rod was doing there with the Carson Wentz pick, but anyways, our QB room I'm liking quite a bit. We got Brock Purdy and Drake May. Probably start off with Purdy early on in the season and see how Drake May comes on. One of the things I like about Drake May is he has a lot of rushing upside. In just 13 games last year, he rushed for over 400 yards. A lot of projections have him rushing for around 800 yards this year. So a lot of upside there. I think both these guys have a shot of being inside top 5 QBs this year. So happy with the QB room. We got 2 picks left. We'll be chasing after some running backs here, get some depth at running back. We are really solid at wide receiver, solid at the top end of our running backs. And then we have obviously a lead tight end. So I'm not going to draft a backup tight end. That's just a wasted roster spot. On Bowers bye, I will just pick up a guy for that 1 week, and then we'll go back to Bowers after that. So don't need to waste a roster spot on a backup tight end. And we will see if we can get some depth here at running back when it comes back around.
Yeah, we found one that they didn't. Dollars. Oh, Southwest.
Did she go home tonight, or she's saying?
No, she's sitting there. I'm in Charlotte.
Yeah.
No, she said she got until in Charlotte. It's just gonna. They're not giving her shit. We're doing the shop. She can work tomorrow. So she's coming in, and so it's like both the cheapest. It's like 4 hours. Should be here at like 11:40.
My balls.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah, it sucks.
Good thing they were avoiding the fucking weather, ground everything.
I don't understand. I mean, it is hard. I was like shocked. I mean, it's fully.
Just like you,
It's incredible. I was shocked to know what out. My God, it's like oppressively God. But I'm standing out there watching the maps. Like,
yeah. What's that?
in the 3-town area
Yeah, it's people want the.
from here to Dallas. What is happening?
That seems-
Just out.
Seems fucking weird.
That's
Seems
what it is.
weird.
It's just American. Obviously, Southwest is flying. It's an American airline. From here, other airlines seem to hire that 1 year.
Yeah, it sounds like they have.
Yeah. So I'm into right now. I'm gonna go see what the cancellation policy is. Nothing worse. I'm gonna see it. Willing.
Cool.
I'm sure.
Couple of zones, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
All right, come up on my fig. Gotta go back in.
You know, I did the apple.
Huh?
You know, I did the apple.
What? All right, we just saw the moon. We're back here. All right, so here late in the draft, I'm looking for guys that could be league winners. So I've queued up a few direct handcuffs. I got Tyler Algier, Will Shipley. Obviously, they're behind 2 top 5 running backs, Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson. But if either one of those guys were to go down, they would be the clear starting running back in an offense where they would get a lot of volume. They would instantly become like top 20 running back as far as fantasy goes. They'd be ranked in the top 20 every week. So we'll hope Shipley gets back to us. That'll give us 2 premium handcuffs there, 2 guys that if injuries happen in front of them, all of a sudden they are studs. And we've got ourselves a league winner or a really solid trade piece, possibly with the Barkley owner or the Bijan owner as well. All right. So, and if we don't get Shipley, we'll go Taj Brooks. Same thing. He's not as clear as the other 2 as the handcuff behind an injury-prone running back, but he is still, I think, will get the early down work. P. Ryan would just get the third down work. I think P. Ryan's role would stay the same regardless, so Brooks would definitely step into a lot of volume as well. But Shipley is the preferred handcuff for sure here. His team is already full, so he's picking like random guys to fill out his roster because we had some top pick trades. So he's pulling up some old school names, but we got Carson Wentz, Kelly, and Alfred Morris going old school. All right, so we will go Shipley here, finish off our draft. Let's take a look at our roster here. Start at QB, we got Brock Purdy, then very strong running back room with Jahmyr Gibbs, Chuba Hubbard. Starting wide receivers are Drake London and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And when a lead tight end with tight end 1 and Brock Bowers. And then we got a lot of depth at wide receiver, Jameson Williams, George Pickens, Ricky Pearsall. We got Travis Etienne mixed in there for running back depth and some upside. Matthew Golden was our last receiver, but could be a stud. Going to get a lot of opportunity in Green Bay, I think. And then we chased some high-end running backs. If injuries happen in front of them, or if Cam Scatterby were to take over the job, they would all could be league winners, depending on how the season falls. So we got the Scatterby, Tyler Algier, and Will Shipley. And then our backup QB is Drake May with a lot of upside there. So we'll see early on in the season who we feel more comfortable with, Drake May and Brock Purdy at quarterback. I was pretty happy with those builds. Was expecting and hoping to go elite QB, but just couldn't pass on Drake London early. But I'm happy with how it played out. Thanks for watching, guys. You can smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, and hit me up if you have any questions in the comments, or send me an email at milliemakermaniac@gmail.com. Thanks, my friends.